3, let's do something that's new.
Let's do a couple of reviews. So, Irvine Welsh's Ecstasy. The problem with doing any film of Irvine Welsh source is that you have to put clear blue water between whatever you're doing and Trainspotting in order for there not, because Trainspotting was such an epochal film. And remember when it came, I was working at Radio 1, you were at Radio 1 at that point, and it had such an impact. I remember this really clearly. I used to present this movie show on Radio 1. We actually changed the theme tune as a result of Trainspotting. And suddenly Lust for Life was on everybody's iPhone. It was such a big deal, and it's possible all these years later to forget just how important it was. Consequently, if you were going to do Irvine Welsh's Ecstasy, I think one of the things you'd avoid is, firstly, you'd avoid doing the freeze frame with the characters' names, because, at the beginning of Trainspotting, probably the most imitated and most well-known opening of a movie, which actually, even when Danny Boyle did it at the time, did owe something to Rumper Stomper and, things.
Whatever happened to Danny Boyle?
Yeah, I don't know. I know he was a burnout, wasn't he? He was just, he had all that stuff, and then,
All right, Danny.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so firstly you do that, and the second thing is you pretty much attempt, as much as is possible, to avoid any locations or any sort of voiceover cinematography. The problem with Ecstasy is this: the genius of Trainspotting was that it took characters who were, on one level, people that you really didn't want to spend time with, you didn't want to be interested in, because they were people suffering from, rabid addiction, and actually found a way into their world. There was the most important scene in Trainspotting is that sequence in which he puts his head down the toilet and he actually goes in, and suddenly it turns into a kind of a strange visionary sequence in which Ewan McGregor is swimming around underwater in search of the lost suppository. And Danny Boyle talked a lot about how, it's that thing about you go through the barrier of yuck and you come out the other end. The problem with Ecstasy is it does almost the opposite thing. Firstly, it does use the freeze frame. It uses all those kind of tropes that keep reminding you of Trainspotting, and yet the characters are not people that you care about in any way at all. And you end up just thinking, I hate to say this because it sounds like the lazy response, but you end up just thinking, I'm sorry, I saw all this before, done much more inventively, in a way that brought me in and made me care about these characters, and all I can think watching this is, remember when we did the review of Joe Cornish's movie Attack the Block, and Joe Cornish said, well, you didn't review my film, you reviewed the other movie that you liked that it wasn't. And I'm sorry, in the case of watching Ecstasy, I just sat there going, Trainspotting was great, wasn't it? And this isn't. And it's not just that Trainspotting is such a high watermark to hit, it's that there was the sense of having been here before and seen this stuff done before, better, and more importantly, engagingly and inventively, in a way that, for me, this absolutely just wasn't. It was a footnote and nothing more. Also, let's do Elle quickly, which is the new movie with Juliette Binoche. And Juliette Binoche stars as